Good evening and welcome to Thursday Night Racing with VicMania. This week we're at the Spanish Grand Prix circuit, Barcelona, Circuit de Catalunya. It's a 60-minute race with one mandatory pit stop with only fuel replacement being required. Looking at qualifying, you can see here that pole position went to Vinny with a 143.360, picking up the 4 points for pole position. Oh yeah, that was a good fart. Lights out and away we go, and Jocelyn takes an early lead ahead of Vinny before the start line incredibly. Fuck, that fart smells. It's a nice clean race into turn 1. Oh no, fuck no, it's not. Skinny Luke's fucked up again. Or has it been? Has been Noah? I don't know. It's someone. On board with Philip Hamilton, we see that Skinny Luke and Reynolds made contact with each other into turn 1. Hamilton went to go the inside but had nowhere to go. Looking on board from Vinny, we see that the two are racing hard. However, Reynolds brakes a little bit early and Skinny Luke turns across his path and that spirals out of control. Major damage to the back of Vinny's car. Into turns 3, 4, 5, we can see that Vinny is driving defensively against Jocelyn. He has got no grip to be able to hang on to that lead. But that's pretty typical for every American car except for a Corvette, isn't it? Hamilton making a position up straight away on his old mate Shauno. Dylan Lester switched to the Mercedes for round 3, getting a little bit squirrely on the exit of turn 9 however. It's nice to see a Mercedes in the field for once. Approaching turn 10, Hamilton made this surprise move on McMillan on lap 1. Vinny ran wide at the penultimate corners, which allowed Jocelyn to get the run on him down the main straight, which resulted in this. Further back in the pack, the battle for 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th was heating up. Reynolds into the grass at turn 1, however Eagles made a late break which allowed Reynolds to get around the outside, and then Ing, Icarus and Hamilton all vying for position. Hamilton getting past Ing and Eagles and trying to get past Icarus too, but the two Porsches fought it out through turns 4 and 5. Hamilton was sloppy through turn 5 and down into the run into 6 and 7. Eagles got the run on him and they went side by side through turn 7. And then on the outside at turn 8, Hamilton skidded and Eagles off into the dirt. Ing's BMW got a run on Hamilton's Porsche through turn 9 as Hamilton ran wide. Into turn 10, they will go side by side with Hamilton ducking to the outside to give himself some racing space in the braking zone. all drivers doing brilliantly to avoid contact throughout this tricky segment. Skinny Luke earned himself a stop-go 30-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane as he entered at the end of lap 1 as well. By halfway through the third lap, Jozen had built up a significant gap over Vinny, who was holding up the rest of the first half of the pack. Reynolds had some pace about him in the race and was attacking Dylan Lester hard. The ensuing battle allowed Icarus and Hamilton behind to catch up on the back of Reynolds and Lester quite quickly. Icarus made a mistake trying to get past the slowed Reynolds, going off track, which forced him wide and allowed Hamilton through. Lester and Reynolds were still battling quite hard, with Lester maybe not quite leaving enough space for the very aggressively attacking Reynolds. But you could also argue that Reynolds wasn't far enough alongside to really make that move stick. After many laps of hounding, Reynolds was able to make his way past Icarus after his incident with Lester. After a hiatus from racing, Sean O'Brien has seemed to be finding pace again, however made a little bit of an error at turns 7 and 8. The pit stops came. Tunks and Hamilton among the few to take tyres and cop the 30-second deficit. After many laps of not being able to get past, Reynolds and Hamilton made contact into turn 1. Reynolds addressed the issue as he ran off the track. Two laps later, however, he made the corner stick and he got past Hamilton and continued his rampage up the field. While in a fierce battle with Tunks following the pit stops, Reynolds lost connection to the server and he dropped way back down the order. Lester had a drive-through penalty late in the race for track limits. This handed him a lot of position penalties. By this point, Reynolds had rejoined the server, however several laps down, and not really in position contention. Reynolds wasn't the only one tonight though, as Hamilton also lost the server as his car hit light speed on the front straight. It was an unlucky break for Hamilton, who lost connection last week and lost connection this week with only 3 minutes left of the race. This race was all about Jozen though, as he took a 30-second win over Will Pay, who'd done a great job starting from 6th, finishing 2nd. So here's the results: 1st, 2nd and 3rd, Jozen, Will Pay and Jack Tunks. And in AM class, Icarus, then Jared Ing, and then Sean O'Brien. Jared Ing still in AM. Looking at the championship's results, we can see it's a tight lead for Jossen over Jack Tunks, and then a bit of a get back to Will Pay and Christian Wells in 3rd and 4th. Thanks for joining us this week. We'll see you next time.